Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm alright, thank you.
What's your name?
Matthew. My name's
Matthew.
Yeah.
What first got you interested in J-pop?
I really liked this game series called Just Dance. You hold the game controller and you copy the dancer on screen and then it detects your motion and gives you points. And I was really, really obsessed with it as a child. I looked it up on the internet and I found out that there was a Japanese only series which had lots of different like J-pop on it and also some K-pops. That's how I discovered that there was this entirely different world of music that I had never heard before.
What are some of your favorite J-pop artists and songs?
I usually say my absolute favorite artist is Namie Amuro. I am interested in kind of the female artists from the like 2000s, Koda Kumi and Ayumi Hamasaki. But my main interest is definitely on what's going on now. So some of my other favorite artists are people like King Nu, Kenshi Yonezu, Yorushika, Sekai no Owari, Man with a Mission.
What do you think are the unique qualities of J-pop?
I think one thing is that they're very good at like expressing emotion through music, which I like a lot. In Japan, they seem to really like key changes.
What are the distinguishing characteristics of J-pop and K-pop?
The K-pop is almost all idols. Japan does have idols and they're popular, but it's not just idols. If you don't like idols, there's something else for you. There's like singer-songwriters, there's people who, produce all their own songs, but I feel like it's a little bit less manufactured than K-pop in K-pop, you have the kind of trainees, the singers, and they'll go through training and then they'll kind of be matched up to be in a group. But I feel like in Japan, there's more instances where things can kind of happen naturally.
Are you currently involved in making music?
I've created mashups on YouTube. So a mashup is usually when you take two different songs and you use different elements of both of them to kind of create a big musical experience, both songs together.
So how did you get started making them?
About 10 years ago, there were all these people on YouTube that did these kind of mashups, but with, Western pop music. And when I was starting to get really into J-pop, I saw a lot of people on YouTube were doing K-pop mashups. And I thought, this is really cool. Maybe I could do J-pop instead, basically. And that's kind of where I've been ever since. And people seem to like my videos, so it's good fun, I guess.
How has J-pop influenced your own life or the way you see the world?
In Japan, there are all these artists that are really, really popular and so many people love them. But then over here in the UK, nobody's ever heard of them. And that's always really interesting to me. There's probably a lot of different countries and they have their own music industries with these really popular artists, but then somewhere else in the world, they're just completely unknown and people will go their entire life without even knowing who these people are. I'm not Japanese and I don't live in Japan, but when an artist I like gets a big hit song in Japan, I'm really excited and really happy for them, despite the fact that over here, nobody knows it. We all live our own lives, but there's so much more to see in the world.
I completely agree with you. So what do you think the future of J-pop?
Over the past few years, there's been a lot of artists getting popular in Japan that have their origins in kind of other musical subcultures in Japan. For example, Vocaloid is a really prominent one. There's a lot of artists that started with Vocaloid music and are now making big hits using real vocals instead. Either using their own voice or they've met a real singer who now does the vocals on their songs for them. And that's how a lot of popular kind of J-pop duos have formed now, like YOASOBI and Yorushika. That's the structure they have of being a producer and a singer. And they both have their roots in Vocaloid music.
Oh, I see. So you speak Japanese remarkably well.
There was a girl who went to my school who was half Japanese and basically asked if she could try teaching me Japanese. Hopefully I will take a JLPT exam this year. I'm working towards that now.
What aspirations or dreams do you hold for the future?
Maybe one day I would be a music producer in Japan. And, you know, I do know so much about Japanese music. I feel like I could bring something to the table.
Sure.
In terms of within J-pop, I think there's more accessibility. You know, it's pretty good at the moment.
Yeah.
Most music videos on YouTube, they've started adding like English subtitles. Most of the stuff is on like Spotify now. There's even more ways that it can extend outside of Japan, I think.
Lastly, what is your message for J-pop fans, and could you express it in Japanese for our audience?
Okay. 西洋の国で J-POP が好きな人の数が増えている感じがあります。僕は最近ロンドンでアニソンクラブナイトへ行きました。大好きな曲を聴きながら踊って嬉しかったです。日本の音楽の喜びを分かち合い続けましょう。世界中でたくさん面白い音楽があります。僕は誰も知らない音楽をもっと見つけたいです。現代において他の文化を分かることが大事だと思います。音楽は世界を変える力を持っていますから、どこにいても一緒に音楽を楽しみましょう。
ありがとうございました。Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. I've had a great time.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much. この動画は英語の学習教材としてもご活用いただける内容となっています。動画がお役に立ちましたら、ぜひいいねやチャンネル登録をお願いします。これからもNotting Hill Academyでは様々なトピックで楽しいコンテンツをお届けしていきますので、お楽しみに。リクエストなどがあればコメント欄にお願いします。